Great. Um, a little bit of housekeeping before we get going onto the topic. This is an AIA accredited presentation. The Boston Society of Architects managed to receive 1.5 HSW credits, and I will be posting a link into the chat box for those of you who, during the presentation, would like to take the time and just enter their information. The BSA will be filing the names of attendants to the AIA and providing you with the credit automatically. So there's nothing for you guys to do after this presentation. So today we have a very special group of people, talented individuals in the furniture design and furniture dealership for seniors. We are very thankful to our panelists, 4 people who have put together this presentation for the first time for this committee to share their knowledge on how to source furniture for seniors, how to design certain furniture for seniors, and also layouts and fabrics and contrast and color, as well as furniture construction and durability, and also how to think about the future in terms of cleanability and durability. Ruth, you wanted people to go around, say maybe 5 seconds who they are, where they work?
I think that would be great.
Okay.
And I'm going according to my order. So Philippe, you can call at other people because everybody's order is different on the screen. My name is Ruth Neiman. I'm a principal with LWDA and co-chair of this committee since its inception 2008, and maybe contemplating fading into the sunset pretty soon. That's all I do, just good environments for elders, and the Design for Aging is a great contributor to the knowledge and the camaraderie of our group.
Diane, do you want to go second? So we do the co-chairs.
I will go second. My name is Diane Dooley. I am also a co-chair of the Design for Aging Committee and a principal with DeMellis Schaefer Associates. I have been a co-chair not quite as long as Ruth, but I'm getting up there. And fortunately, my colleague Philippe Saad is right there behind me. And he is representing also DeMellis Schaefer.
Nancy? I'm going clockwise on my screen. Nancy, go ahead.
I'm Nancy Schott. I am from Direct Supply in Milwaukee. I'm from the Designer Link division. Our company is a provider of a wide variety of products and services specifically to the senior living industry. And I've been with Direct Supply for about 24 years. And I'm joined by another colleague on the panel here for today to represent the dealer division of our company.
Thank you. Marcy?
Hi, I am Marcy Stafura from Stafura Associates. We're an interior design firm based in Boston. We work on all kinds of projects, and some of them are for the Design for Aging. So looking forward to tonight's presentation.
Thank you. Peter Cohen?
Hi there. I work at the Yale University Art Gallery for 22 years. I'm a senior museum technician. My daughter works at a Boston architecture firm, got this notice, and my father is a longtime mover and shaker in gerontology, Elias S. Cohen.
Cool, thank you. Marilyn? If people choose not to introduce themselves, it's okay, we can pass, but Marilyn, go ahead. Okay, Jen?
Hey everyone, I'm Jen Starusky. I work at Creative Office Pavilion, COP. Been there for 16 years, and we are a local furniture dealer in the Boston area and do all sorts of types of projects. But looking forward to talking to you tonight about the senior living aspect. of our business.
Kathy?
Hi, I'm Kathy LaDuca. I've been with Demella Schaefer for 27 years. I think Jen and I did her first job together for one of my projects.
Confirmed, yeah.
Way back when. I love what I do and will continue to do it as long as I can.
JD?
Hi, I'm JD Endo with Direct Supply. I work with Nancy. My role is being the product expert when it comes to furnishings. I've been in the furniture business for over 15 years, the last 9 at Direct Supply, focusing solely on senior living, working with operators as well as designers in that specification process.
Thank you. There's a person, I Shuttle.
That's Ingrid Shuttleworth. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Ingrid Shuttleworth. I'm an architectural designer. I've been out of the field for a few years, but this topic is of great interest to me.
Please, Lisa Snedden.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa. I am an interior designer at LRS Architects in Portland, Oregon. And we do a lot of senior living. I'm in fact working on 2 huge FF&E projects right now. So it's perfect timing.
Great. Diane Mahoney.
Hi, I'm a professor at the Mass General Hospital Institute of Health Professions. I've been a gerontologist for 40 years and a geriatric nurse practitioner clinically. And my research program has gotten me involved quite a bit with the community living residences of elders. And especially I work with people with dementia and their family caregivers. So I've been very attuned into what the environmental aspects are. And I'm very interested in this topic today.
Thank you. Stephen Gribbin.
Get it on mute. Stephen Gribbin from Principal at Stephen Gribbin Architects. We're a full service firm up in the North Shore.
Thank you. Doug Crosby.
Hi, I have a firm called Workplace Project Management, and we do FF&E for a broad range of clients, which has included some senior living facilities. So I'm interested from that perspective.
Great. Juliet Borgia.
Hello, I am Juliet Borja with Place Taylor Elton Hampton Architects in Boston. We specialize in affordable multifamily housing that also includes veterans housing and senior housing. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Alec Pouch.
Hi, Alec Pouch from Creative Office Pavilion. We've seen more and more activity in the senior living area, and I'm just anxious to learn more about how to respond to those requests and be more knowledgeable in the area. Thank you.
Bob Lagoida.
Hi, I'm Bob Lagoida with Leading Age National. Leading Age is an association of around 6,000 not-for-profit aging services providers, and I manage our design for aging senior living design education for our association. And I'm based here in Boston for the last 3 years.
Good to see you, Bob. You're one of our regulars.
Social worker by training, so.
Cool. Alfred Wojciechowski. Sorry.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I couldn't read your full last name. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a long last name. It doesn't 1x2 little screen you're allotted. Hi, I'm Alfred Wojciechowski, architect, been involved in design for aging environments for many years, and I'm a partner at CBT. Thank you.
Ed Marcy.
Hi, Ed Marcy. I'm actually just recently joined Trapani Architects as their managing principal. I've been doing healthcare architecture for the past since 2008. So if I do my math, about 13 years in architecture for the last 20 plus years. And experience with assisted living and skilled nursing facilities and a few other places. This is obviously a subject that is going to get more and more active for all of us, that we should all be well aware of our aging community.
Marjorie McNally, go ahead.
Hi, it's Margie McNally for short, and
Okay.
I'm an interior designer in Massachusetts, Southeastern Massachusetts. I'm also a certified aging in place specialist, and I'm an adjunct faculty for Boston Architectural College teaching on sustainable design. And I am getting more into the area of senior living and design around aging in place. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Our participants are inching towards the 70 participants. So just so that we keep time for the meat of that presentation, can you please be very brief, your name and what profession you're with? So Jane Wang, go ahead.
Hi, this is Jane. I work for DCAM on the state agency, and I am very happy to meet some of you. Now, Felipe, I know it has to be short, but you remember me.
I remember you.
You are an awesome artist. I still have the picture you drew for Stowe Firefighters Academy. I just recognize you. You're the one. So anyway, I also, where DCAM actually right now is working on a very active project is the Chelsea Soldiers Home for the veterans. So I am very interested in learning a little bit more about the topic, just so we can assist that particular project in the very near future. I know all the panelists, Marcy and Kathy and Jen.
Hi, Jane.
And
Hi, friend.
Alec. And Alec.
Catherine Robinson, please.
Architect, project manager for LWDA Design.
Thank you. Holly Hill.
Oh, sorry, had to unmute myself. Holly Hill with Hill Divine. I'm also in Portland, Oregon. Hello, Lisa. We do design and procurement for senior living for about 25 years and been in the hospitality for about 30 years.
Great. Garth Johnson.
Garth Johnson, I'm with Cutler Associates. We do planning and construction of senior living facilities.
Thank you. Jackie?
Hi, I'm Jackie Dobson with Solutions for Accessibility, my company. I've been doing this for over 30 years, actually, but my background is in occupational therapy, which is, for me, all about functional task analysis. So I make things customized, but I'm really interested in the furniture, of course.
Lauren Goldberg.
Hi there, I'm co-founder of Thriving Places Collaborative. We help coordinate placemaking projects and transform public space, and we will be doing that for people of all ages. Thanks for me.
Andrea's iPhone 6.
Which I don't even have anymore. That's hilarious. That's way gone. I'm Andrea Krolik. I'm principal of Andrea Krolik Custom Interiors here in Dallas, Texas, and I specialize in interior design as well as remodeling. And so I do a lot of kitchen and bathroom remodeling, and I need to make sure I'm doing the ADA thing and all of that. So I'm very happy to learn whatever I can learn.
18 minutes. Louis Chiller.
Yes, I'm a semi-retired architect, but I've done a fair amount of both senior housing and student housing. And so I thought this might be applicable to both.
Bethany Veselka.
Yes, hi, I'm Bethany. I'm with Page Sutherland Page in Dallas, interior design and working in the housing hospitality sector.
Erin Schamberg.
Hi, my name is Erin Schamberg, and I'm an interior designer at CRW Architecture and Design Group in Rochester, Minnesota. I have a specialization in designing the visual environment for visually impaired and aging.
Thank you. If you're not speaking, I would ask that you please mute yourself. There was some background noise. Thank you. Mary McKenna.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Hello, I'm Mary McKenna. I have my own architectural firm and we do inclusive universal design and spiritual retreats.
Chin Ying Gan. Okay. Christy Harris.
Hi, I'm Christy Harris from Cunningham, and I'm an interior designer in the studio that we do designs for senior living and multifamily.
Joe Porter.
Sorry. I'm Joe Porter, architect for at Isgenuity.
Next is Tom Davis.
Hi, I'm an architect in Western Mass.
Judy Green.
Hi, I'm an account manager at a furniture dealership in San Francisco called Resource Design Interiors.
Thank you. Let's put it this way. I mean, this is taking a long time. Those of you who don't have a photo up, probably you guys want to remain private and maybe not reveal who you are. So maybe we'll take maybe a minute. Those of you who want to introduce yourselves, just unmute and do it, and then we can move on with the presentation. Will.
Guess everyone's ready for us.
Okay, good. Let's get started.
Anticipation builds.
We have a real national audience. Thank you all for joining from across the country. This is really nice. It just confirms the importance of this topic. I'll go ahead and introduce our 4 panelists today in alphabetical order, and then the presentation will start. So the first presenter will be JD Endel. JD has over 15 years of experience in furnishings field as well as background in marketing. JD brings a wealth of knowledge to the direct supply team. In her role as senior furnishings product consultant, she uses this knowledge base to provide senior living clients with the expertise that will help them find the exact products to fit their unique community's needs perfectly. JD works closely with the marketing team to evaluate and analyze customer feedback to help improve current products and develop new ones. She keeps up to date on current senior living trends and provides general product consultations, program overviews, product sales training, and customer demos. Our second presenter is Kathy Lazuka. Kathy Lazuka has produced award-winning interior spaces during her 25-year tenure at DeMella Schaefer. Working as an integral part of the team, Kathy acts as a liaison between the architectural team, client, and contractor to ensure a successful end product that reflects the client's vision and budget, as well as DeMella Schaefer standards. Conceptualization, selection, and documentation of the interior elements of successful interior spaces receive her careful attention, as well as the selection and installation of furniture, artwork, and accessories. Kathy has designed interiors for national and local clients in multiple market sectors, such as the Kendall Corporation, Hebrew Senior Life, Forest City, and Harvard University. The third presenter is Jennifer Staruski. Jennifer is a senior account manager with Creative Office Pavilion and has 15 years of experience with COP. She works with design professionals and owners to research solutions to support product vision while staying on budget. She is involved in all aspects of the project from the start until deliveries are guaranteed and timelines are met. The fourth presenter is Marcy Steffera. Marcy is a native of Canada. She relocated to New England area after receiving a graduate degree in design from Cranbrook Academy of Art. Principal of her eponymous firm since 1995, Marcy has over 35 years of experience in interior design. Her projects vary in diversity from corporate headquarters to daycare centers for children. Work in senior living sector includes Benchmark Senior Living, Adelaide of Newton Center, and Golda Meir House. Current projects include Jerome Home, Arbor Rose expansion, and renovations at Yeovil Place. Marcy has practiced interior design in both Canada and the United States. Her work is included in the Rizzoli publication Cranbrook Design, The New Discourse. With this, I will turn it to our first panelist, JD, to start the presentation, and then it will go on from one to the other. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, everyone. So again, JD Undell with Direct Supply, provider of all products and services specific to senior living. One of those products is furniture, which is my area of expertise. There are two common myths that I've had to bust many times in my career. One, furniture is just about being pretty. Don't get me wrong, furniture does have a huge impact on the marketability of these buildings, and it does need to be aesthetically pleasing. There's a lot of importance there, but there's so much more that goes into it, which leads me to my second myth that I know Kathy will appreciate here. A chair is just a chair.
Couldn't have said it better.
That's for you, Kathy.
Thank
so
you.
over the next several minutes, I will go into more detail about the key features that make furniture unique. These features are not new, but they are extremely important when designing and selecting furniture for senior environments. The reason for that is because of her. I don't know who she is, but I want to adopt her as my grandma because she looks really sweet and like she'd be a very good grandma. But everything that we do, all of the thought that goes into the design and the furniture selection, we do this for her and all of those like her. We promote their independence. We help maintain their dignity. And most importantly, we help keep her safe. So first, I will dive into seating. Contract grade furniture is constructed for a higher rate of usage, so it will hold up better for the life of the product versus, say, your residential type of furniture. Cushions are a really good example of that. High density, high resiliency foam prevents the cushions from breaking down too soon. You want the cushions to be firm and supportive so that they last and keep the residents from getting stuck. The reality is in our industry that the resident sitting on the furniture when it first gets installed might be a different resident that's sitting on it 5 years from now. And we want that resident in 5 years to have the same experience. We don't want them to get stuck in the furniture either. So good quality construction is very important. Mortise and tenon joints are the strongest joint construction for furniture. It helps ensure that the chair itself stays completely stable. The residents tend to be a little wobbly on their own, so we want something nice and stable underneath them to help prevent any falls. And there's a lot of use and abuse that happens in these buildings. So durable finishes such as a conversion varnish or a catalyzed lacquer are key to keeping your chairs looking good over the life of the product. When it comes to marketability, nothing competes with wood. European beechwood is a very strong hardwood. It also has some flexibility to it. That flexibility allows us to do designs like this curve without affecting the integrity of the construction. It also, combined with a strong finish, helps absorb impacts. So typically, if a chair gets beat up, it's going to show little dent marks versus the cheaper chairs that have a harder wood and a cheaper finish are going to show those little white chip marks because they resist those impacts. Faux wood metal chairs have been increasing in popularity. They came out probably about 10 years ago. It is an aluminum frame that has a wood grain pattern baked onto it. It's really hard to tell in the picture, but in person, it can fool you until you touch it. It gives the appearance of wood, so when you're thinking about the impact on the marketability, but you get the durability of it being metal, especially in those higher acuity areas or activity spaces. And then lastly, we have our polymer chairs. The whole claim to fame behind polymer is that they are virtually indestructible. They have been very popular in high acuity areas in the past, such as memory care and skilled environments. We have been seeing a trend of operators that want to save a little money transitioning to the faux wood metal chairs from the polymer. Residents do use the arms on the furniture to get in and out. So in the common area spaces, you're going to see a lot more love seats and a lot less sofas. Nobody sits in that middle seat. And in the dining room, you're not going to find side chairs. The residents use those arms, and we want to make sure that they have something firm and stable underneath them to get in and out of the furniture. More specifically about the arms, excuse me, having them fully extended helps the resident in that transition to a standing position. Typically what they do is they scooch to the end of the chair and then they push up. So having support all the way from the back to the front is key in helping prevent those falls. In addition, the forward hand grip is something nice for them to grab hold of. Even if they have arthritic fingers, it's a nice smooth surface to, again, help with that egress. The only downside I hear about the forward hand grips is tearing pockets. Haven't had that one happen to me yet, but I've heard it going into your pocket and tearing your pants. The seat spectrum takes into account the seat height, seat depth, as well as the back pitch. General rule of thumb when you're specifying for these buildings is that the higher the acuity level of the residence, so think your memory care environments, your skilled nursing facilities, the shallower you want that seat depth. This is what helps promote the independence of the residents along with those firm seat cushions. And we're talking inches of difference here, so it's not drastic in terms of the actual measurement, but it can create a drastic difference in the experience for that resident. You don't want seat heights to be too low. That makes it difficult for residents to egress. And dining chairs need to be in the correct proportion to the table height. So 18 to 20 inches is usually ideal. If arms are too low, the residents don't have them to use for support and standing. And if they're too high on a dining chair, the chair could bang into the table, which could cause damage. Or if they're just below the table height, you could squish some fingers and cause some damage to the resident. And then the back pitch is really important. A more upright back pitch allows for easier egress when they're trying to get up. They don't have the ab strength to use to sit up. So having that more upright back is ideal, especially in dining. It helps promote proper dining posture. When added mobility is needed for dining chairs, wheels can be added. We do recommend, and I have my disclaimer on the bottom of the screen here for it, that they're only on the front legs. We make you sign your life away if you want to put it on all four legs. This is for the safety and the stability of the residents. We want to keep them safe. That's a key factor in everything that we do. So the ball caster has a 360-degree movement, which allows for more mobility. The side-to-side movement is really helpful if you want to turn the chair and transfer a resident into a walker, as an example. The inline wheels have only a front to back movement. So this can help the caregiver assist the resident to the table, or it can make it easier for the resident to move the chair on their own. Casters are typically used only when we have a carpet floor, whereas the inline wheels can be used on any floor type. Be mindful of the acuity levels of the residents when you're specifying the wheels, as we don't want higher acuity residents, so again, skilled or memory care environment, to be too mobile. The gap that is here between the back and the seat is ideal for the staff to help keep those chairs clean between meals. It's very quick for them to take a damp cloth and wipe down all these chairs without spaces for the crumbs to accumulate. Like this chair, we would have a dirty butt crack. And we try to avoid that because the staff doesn't want to have to clean those. And in the common area space, there's an optional upgrade feature called removable seat decking. This is a way to protect the investment of your furniture. So again, higher acuity areas where there's issues with incontinence, this is really highly recommended. What happens is the resident urinates on the product, the fabric it'll just bubble up on the fabric. Jen will highlight that a little bit more with a wonderful demonstration. And then you move the cushions. The decking is all wrapped in vinyl, so there's the suspension system, or the springs are inside here. This comes out and you can clean the whole thing down. So long gone are the days where the chair has to be sent to housekeeping to be cleaned. Once it gets cleaned, it gets sent to some other area of the building. In the meantime, that resident who always sits in their favorite chair is super agitated and they want their chair, and who knows when and where that chair ended up. So with this feature, staff can wipe it down. The resident can go right back to sitting down. So now that the residents are sitting comfortably, I'll go over case goods and tables. I will highlight that when designing for skilled nursing facilities, case goods will always be needed. If you're designing for senior living, so think independent living, assisted living, memory care, it's state specific. Some states require that all rooms be furnished, some a percentage, and some none at all. So there are three main materials available for resident room case goods as well as the dining tables. Laminate is budget friendly. It's also moisture and scratch resistant. So it's a really nice, durable, cost-effective solution. It's typically found in skilled nursing environments where they're relying on the government funding, so they're a little bit more cost conscious, but they need that durability. Because laminate is a rigid product, it does have to have a separate edge. So it's always going to be on a flat surface. So on your dining table tops, your self edge or your T-mold edge are great solutions when budget is of concern, and also if some meals are being served with tablecloths. The wood bullnose edge adds a nice decorative detail on here, and the spill boundary edge is the most impact resistant. It's a poly material in the outside that protects the table. It also has a small lip on here, so the laminate, so if there's a spill on the top, it catches the spill versus allowing the liquid to fall on the floor, which could potentially cause a fall. Thermolaminate is a vinyl product, so it has a lot more flexibility to it, which allows us to essentially shrink wrap the material around the substrate. It's not only more impact resistant, but it is also a seamless design, so it prevents moisture and bacteria from getting in. The flexibility also allows us to do decorative details like the drawer fronts pictured here that make it feel a little bit more residential versus your laminate type of collections. And lastly, wood veneers. This is a real wood product, which is the most residential-like. The case goods still have durable features like a high pressure laminate top on here to prevent moisture from seeping into the wood. Veneer dining table tops are not recommended in a main dining room as they're not going to be as durable as your thermolaminates and laminates. They are a great solution, however, for a table in a lounge space that's used maybe for puzzles, cards, or games. I mentioned that laminates are great for skilled environments in the resident rooms. Thermos are better if you can get a little bit more out of their budget. Thermolaminate is also great for memory care where acuity levels tend to be a little bit higher. And wood veneers are ideal for your lower acuity areas where less equipment is going in and out of the rooms. And honestly, the staff is what tends to be harder on the furniture than the residents themselves. So if they're pushing a lift into a room, boom, it goes right into the side of a piece of furniture and damages it. They don't really care. So we try to prevent or provide product that's going to hold up well in those environments. Wood veneer would not do as well in a skilled environment. But if you have it in assisted living or if you don't provide case goods, it's a great solution for a model room that's used for marketing. Typically in a main dining space, the tables will have pedestal bases. The most popular is an all metal base. Wood and metal bases elevate the feel of a dining room, with wood on the column being a little bit more residential and still having the durability of the cast iron on the feet. All wood bases are typically not found in a main dining room, but are in lower usage specialty areas like a cafe or a bar. Leg tables are something else we do not typically see in a main dining space. The legs will get beat up by the dining chairs getting pushed in. The wheelchairs will beat up the legs, and it's also a hindrance. It's harder for a resident in a wheelchair to get up to a leg table versus a pedestal table. Again, as I mentioned with the veneer tops, they would pair well with that for a lounge space where you're having your game, card, and puzzle tables. If you are accommodating a lot of residents in wheelchairs, adjustable height tables are really helpful to be able to set the table up a little bit higher. If the resident has full length arms on their wheelchair and they can't quite scooch under the table far enough, you can adjust the height of the table. This is a pneumatic lift. It adjusts in 1-inch increments. You can put it at the height that you need it. And if it's a multi-purpose room or an activity space and those tables need to get moved around a lot, these mobile bases are invaluable. There is so much that goes in. These are like the full Monty of table bases. So you have the wheels on the bottom here that the staff can engage and move it around. So no longer are they dragging it on that beautiful floor that you specified and just installed and damaging it. No longer are they lifting a table and getting injured. Now one person can engage these wheels and move the table off to the side. The top flips over so that they stack nice and neat next to each other along the edge of the room. You have more space for your activities, and it also has a crank to adjust the height. Now, I mentioned earlier, not a chair. A chair is not only just a chair. Well, the same thing goes for bedside cabinets. It's also not just a bedside cabinet. There's a lot of important features that go in to make these senior specific as well. So seniors can have a loss in dexterity, making it difficult to open drawers. So you want to make sure that you're selecting easy to grab hardware. Loose pulls would be very difficult for a resident to grab, as an example. We don't want these drawers falling out on the resident's feet. So all of the drawers will have positive stop drawer locks, whether it's a full ball bearing, fully extended drawer glide or a Euro glide, or it stops partway through. It will have a mechanism inside so that the drawer doesn't come out on grandma's feet. We also don't want the bedside cabinet to tip over on the resident. So we enhance the construction on the back side of the pieces to make it thicker and heavier so that it's counterbalanced. Whether grandma's a hoarder and she locks a ton of stuff in these drawers and she has them open, we don't want it to tip over. Or if she's getting out of bed and she pushes up off of the nightstand, we want it to provide the support and not be an added risk. All of the backs of case goods are ventilated, so that helps promote airflow and reduce bacteria buildup. The rounded corners on the top are ideal in case the resident bumps into it. We don't want to cause any skin tears. And we want to make sure that these case goods are providing adequate storage, but not taking up a ton of space in the resident room. So they're all properly scaled, thinking about the resident rooms. And lastly, not pictured here, but you do have the option of adding a lock on the top drawer. This is, again, a state-specific requirement. Certain states require that you provide a secure storage for residents. Other operators might just want to provide it as an option so that their residents have somewhere to lock their valuables. So now I will hand it over to Kathy and Marcy to talk about designing for seniors.
Great, thank you, JD. We'll take questions and discussion at the end of the session.
Okay. Next.
Done.
You
got that one.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. Bye. Go.
So we've come a long way. In the past several years, we've seen lots of changes in how design facilities for elderly are designed. So gone are the heavy, traditional, stuffy interiors. And we've all moved towards something that is taking its cue partially from hospitality, sleeker, simpler, just sort of more straightforward designs.
Hi, everybody. I would just want to say that I hope everyone enjoys this presentation as much as we enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun. So when marketing approached me to make a blog on specifying furniture for seniors, I started writing, and it was amazing how much information, how many things go into thinking about specifying furniture, and especially chairs. That's what JD was referencing, is just my love of chairs. In these residences, the most important activities for them are dining and playing cards. So those chairs and tables need to integrate very successfully. Next.
Yes, so as Kathy says, dining is certainly one of the really important spaces in all of these multi-unit residential facilities. This one we worked on at Adelaide. We really sought to create a dining room that really looked more like a restaurant than a mess hall, something institutional. So we selected elegant finishes. Some of these, the circular tables that you see by the windows, are actually, the tops are a cast resin. It's a plastic, it's back painted. So it kind of shimmers actually, and it's ideal for food service, really easy cleanup, but sort of not your typical, you know, assisted living facility. Next. Also in planning, anything for assisted living, and I have to preface all of this by saying that our firm really deals most specifically with design for assisted living and memory care, less for independent living and skilled nursing. So all of my comments are kind of centered around those project types. So this shows something that's of great interest in how facilities are planned. Here, we created separate areas that can be sort of opened up for larger gatherings. So this sort of layering of space was something that this client was very interested in having. So in the distant background, you see the activities room where the tables are mobile, the chairs are stackable. And then in the foreground, you see another dining room, which, as Kathy mentioned, is a very important part of each each building that we work on. Next. So this is a cafe that is part of the Adelaide project for Benchmark Senior Living. This was actually part of the project that was outside the security line. And so what we wanted to do here was to really create a space that felt like they were going out. So a resident could go out with a family member and have a cup of coffee and a pastry. So the furnishings that we selected here were really, you know, quite a departure from what was seen in the secure part of the facility. They're more cafe-like. There was a nod to the outdoors. We have a green living wall, which is actually still very healthy and happy. and then actually, you know, something that it connected directly to the outside. There's a lovely terrace that you see sort of, you can see the exterior doors leading to the outside. So even before COVID, this was, we could see this sort of progression, very important connections to the outside for residents. Next.
This is a recently completed renovation of Edgewood Retirement Community's clubhouse, and the renovation encompassed their dining rooms and living room, card room, furniture and finishes. I'll try not to reiterate some of JD's very excellent points about casters on the front, but one story I did want to mention about this is the first time I ever did an Axminster carpet, and that if you don't know, it's a woven 80% wool, 20% nylon carpet that requires a pad underneath. The final product is absolutely gorgeous. It's very luxurious, very thick and plush, but the chairs, the residents, even with the casters on the front legs, they couldn't move them. On the back legs were just the standard plastic half-inch glides, and they weren't working. So we fixed it by putting nickel glides, easy glides, which are metal and the same diameter as the back legs. And that solved the problem. Then they were able to move in and out by themselves. Next. Chair selection, again, not gonna go into a big discussion about chair selection. This chair is actually a hospitality grade chair. It's made by Shelby Williams. It's a great chair. It fits a lot of different body types. But as JD mentioned, the arm being able to go under the tabletop is key to mobility. Next. This is the same. This is also Kendall on Hudson. This is their private dining room. It's all one giant room, but they delineate it into two separate venues. And it's the same chair. We just took the cutouts out of the crest rail and put a more elegant fabric on it. Next. This is a nursing home in Roslindale. This, I know it says table selection, but I have to mention about the chairs also. As you notice, the chairs don't have casters because it's on a resilient floor, but these chairs are made by Qualu, and interesting construction is it's a steel bar surrounded by foam, hardened foam, and then a thermoplastic plastic wrap over it. And they've come a long way. They've really upped their game as far as design goes. Yes, they have. But the thing I wanted to mention about the tables is this client wanted, he had a lot of specifics in that he wanted a bigger than normal table, not a 36-inch table, but a 42-inch table, an antimicrobial top, and we specified a Corian quartz for the top. And Versteel is a manufacturer of this, and they did several iterations to get the diameter of that tubular steel base. The client wanted casters, so lockable casters for the staff so they could easily be moved and reconfigured. What you can't see in this picture is that on the underside of that table, there's a massive spider holding it all together. And I don't know if I mentioned pneumatic lift also.
Wow.
Yeah, some table.
Impressive.
This is Leonard Florence Center for Living. This is a neighborhood concept. And the reason someone mentioned when we were talking earlier about furniture design, and we did design this this table. The client here, because it's a neighborhood, there are 10 residents here and staff and people coming in to visit. They needed a table that sat 10 but could also be made larger. So, and he didn't want separate leaves that had to be taken out and stored and lifted because, again, it stresses out people's backs. So what we did was that's a breadboard end that slides out on rails, and then the leaf stores inside underneath the table and kind of comes out and pops into place. Next.
This is a project that we worked on a couple of years ago at Golda Meir House. It's in Newton, Massachusetts. Large building, 197 units and it's subsidized housing. And this is their dining room, which really serves so many purposes. Not only dining, they do a lot of movie nights. So the furniture has to get cleared out and rearranged. They have exercise classes there. Sometimes they work on a building-wide art project. So this is a dining room / multi-purpose room. So you see casters on the bottoms of the table. The chairs are good stacking chairs. So flexibility here was absolutely key. Next.
This is a rendering, a 3D rendering of a project that is slated to start construction in spring. What this illustrates is dining as an experience, dining as hospitality, providing different venues for residents just to give them some different ways to enjoy people's company and food. What you can't see, all you can really see in the front of the image is beer taps, but there's a full service bar behind here, and then the counter that comes out is a nice touchdown split space for somebody to have a meeting or a cup of coffee. Also the banquettes, this is a long room, so we use the screens at the back of the banquettes in order to divide up the space and also create more intimate dining experiences. Next. The other type of seating that we use a lot are lounge chairs, lounges, libraries, and common spaces, meeting spaces. We do a lot of renovations, and a lot of times the existing furniture that the client has is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It just needs a little freshening up. So a lot of times we'll incorporate new furniture with existing furniture. This image shows several different ways of enjoying the space. Next.
This is an image of one of our projects for Benchmark Senior Living. It's a library lounge, and like a lot of other sectors, what we worked on here and what the residents were interested in was sort of a variety of seating options. So if you're a smaller frame person, you might find the cluster around the table more comfortable. The high back pieces that you see on the left side of the image are also very popular for dozing, the high back. So just sort of a variety of clusters that you know, different people, different things for different people. The next slide shows another, in the same facility, another one. And if you look closely, you'll see that the coffee table looks like it never got delivered, but actually, in a lot of these facilities, they really don't want the coffee table there because it kind of impedes maneuverability and negotiating around spaces with walkers and wheelchairs. So often they're not part of the picture.
Lounge spaces can also be when you have corridors that have some length to them. They can provide wayfinding and destination points. These chairs are made by David Edward, who is always my go-to for senior furniture because they just sat so well. The seat heights, the cant of the back, the arm heights, they've been bought by another company and they've destroyed the line. So I don't know, got to find somebody else.
Hate when that happens.
Oh, terrible. I guess that's all I have to say about this slide. Again, chair selection, we're seeing a lot more chairs being specified rather than sofas due to COVID. Clients are taking sofas out of their existing homes. These chairs were existing and we reupholstered them because they were just such a great scale and really fit the space nicely. Next. This is also a renovation, Spring House in Jamaica Plain. The library was an existing space, but we opened it up and brought the outside in by making the storefront between the two spaces glass. What this shows really is just a variety, again, a variety of seating in the same space for people to either be in the quiet space or be more social and in the open library. Next.
We included this slide because it illustrates something that you need to think about when you're designing a memory care facility. This is assisted living, so we think we're okay. But if you look at the carpet selection that's on the floor, that sort of meandering string effect would be something that memory care residents might find disconcerting. You might find some of them on their knees trying to pick the string up off the floor. So thought about pattern and how it's interpreted by somebody who is suffering from dementia is something that you kind of have to be very conscious of as you design. Patterns that look like they might have lint on them or something like this is something that, you know, they'll worry about.
Next, okay. Okay, table selections. Coffee tables or low tables are always round. We never do square ones because someone might catch the corner or bark their shin. If we do a glass top, it would be a frosted top because the clear glass is too disconcerting. These chairs, I know this isn't a chair slide, but these chairs are amazingly comfortable. They are not a senior furniture dealer. They are a Kielhauer, a contract grade. And what we did was we took the client on a showroom tour and we sat in a lot of different chairs, and this chair sits so well. The back is supported. Residents don't even need a toss pillow behind them to give them back support. The arm heights are good. The comfort is really good. I know I'm talking more about the chair than the table, but okay. Next.
This slide shows a couple of decidedly low-tech solutions to enriching lives. The upper left shows the Scrabble board. We incorporated, and these are sort of, furnishings, assisted living, fine, also memory care. The Scrabble board on the upper left, we installed one of these in a memory care building. And I was told recently by the director of the facility that one of the residents, when her family moved her in, they asked that her room be located very close to the Scrabble board in the hallway, just because their family always played Scrabble together. So they felt like that was an important connection for her. The lower image is a map. We also include some big, wall-mounted maps of the local area, and residents tend to really like that. They find, the street where they used to live and their neighborhood. So that's a good way to kind of connect to who they are. And then the image on the right just shows a piano. So in memory care, as well as really all kinds of residences. Music is a really important component for memory care. It's one of the last things to go, is the memory of music. So incorporating musical instruments in the spaces is very important and adds richness to their lives, the lives of the residents. Next.
The sit test. So in addition to taking the client on showroom tours, we also have a process we call the sit test, where we bring the chairs to the client. And typically we'll bring 6 chairs, half a dozen chairs. And this is a great way to have resident input. And it seems to be very successful. Next.
Except I will interject, Kathy.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. Yes, we have.
What took you so long?
Oh, well, I was waiting for this one. This is where we talked about it. So Kathy and I have done lots of sit tests together, and we always get a panel from the residences, and staff at the different facilities. But no matter what, no matter how many opinions we get and how much buy-in we get, Kathy and I worked on a job together, and we installed just a beautiful space, and everything was pre-approved, and a resident came over and sat down in this beautiful brand new chair and told us how horrible and asked and begged for the one that we just threw away in the dumpster because it was way better. And so
yeah, you do tend to develop thick skin, I'll give you that.
Yes, for sure.
Next. JD really covered resident room furnitures. I don't have a lot to say. I have a couple of slides of just a couple of the resident rooms that we did. One thing that I did learn early on in my career is always specify high back chairs. People tend to doze off, have a little nap, and they need neck support. So that was a lesson learned. And I just wanted to point out that the lamp on the table has a USB port and an outlet, so that people don't have to scrounge around for a wall outlet. And lastly, the artwork above the bed. We worked closely with Boston Art to make this piece of art. And what this is, engineered to the nth degree, it lifts up, and there's the med gases for the patient behind it. So it's camouflaging that. But we really worked on, we couldn't use glass because of the glare. Plexi was too heavy. So we worked on getting a substrate for that artwork that was cleanable with no protection. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Next. This is another resident room at Leonard Florence, just showing the use of color and pattern and JD's furniture. Next.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Kathy.
Oh, yeah, you did, babe. You did. Next. Oh, this is a good story. So this Orchard Cove is a client that we've had for 27 years. We designed the original building, and then 10 years ago, they came back and they decided that they did a freshen up. And this was originally a dining room and a library, and we combined it into one big dining room because the client needed more dining venues. And then just maybe a year ago, they decided that they wanted to make it into a 24/7 dining facility, which meant a whole new kitchen revamp, new equipment, everything. So, hey, why not just redo the whole space? We haven't even touched on fabrics. There's a million different types of fabrics now. Krypton used to be have a moisture backing, and the hand was like cardboard, but that's come a long way. There's solution dyed nylons from Sunbrella. There's polyurethanes, vinyls. And so the banquette, and there's also a company in the out west that does finishing they do, I don't even know how many different types of finishing, but you can take a really beautiful fabric and back it with a moisture back and maintain that hand. And the upholsterer of the banquette, he put it on the banquette backwards. So the plastic back was on the outside. And, you know, to give him his due, the seat's vinyl. So, okay, we can make the argument, but it finally did get fixed. But it's an interesting story that Jen is going to follow up on.
Right.
Next.
But before Jen gets to that, just a last slide that encompasses a couple of ideas. So the green chairs in the lower left show that the cushions are actually upholstered in vinyl, and we blended the color quite closely so that, you know, to the eye as you're walking through the space, the cushion doesn't stand out as being markedly different from the rest of the chair. The panel in general thinks that the you know, wildly patterned fabric with a colored seat that looks really different tends to look institutional. So there's kind of working away from that. The upper right image shows sort of a high contrast between the flooring and the seat of the chair itself, so that when somebody with you know, less than 20/20 vision can really identify where the chair is versus where the floor is. And then the lower right image shows what we would recommend if you're looking for fabric that is, let's say it's gray or it's red. You might pick something with a tweed or a textured appearance, so that it tends to forgive a little bit on the staining versus something that is just a totally solid color, which will show everything. So I think that's it.
Okay.
That's it for us.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, rub it in, Kathy. Thanks. Okay, I'm on. All right. Hi, everyone. Let's see. All right. I'm Jen Starewski from COP. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the cleanability of fabrics and materials. But obviously these are spaces, you know, that you're designing that's bringing families and people together. And so there's a lot of different things to consider and things to think about. And I just thought that this picture was adorable. So furniture cleanability and antimicrobial treatments. So in the COVID world that we are obviously living in, hence this Zoom meeting, cleaning and disinfecting all these products is a really hot topic and high on everybody's brain. And just in this environment, you know, even just the dining aspect, it's expected that these chairs and these surfaces are going to get contaminated. They might get stained, they might get soiled. So how do we prevent against that? The different manufacturers do offer product guides as to how to clean them, but there's other things available for us too. So once upon a time, the performance fabrics that were available to our favorite designers like Kathy and Marcy were brutal and not fun and not rich and didn't have a lot to offer. So we were kind of pigeonholed into using some really ugly fabrics. But now we can apply a coating onto almost any material that you'd like. So if you find a fabric and you're in love with it and it's beautiful and it's rich and it's got a great hand, as Kathy said, we can send it out to a third party and have it treated with all different ways to resist against staining and moisture and make it bleach cleanable and give it a backing. So so we send it, so we would get the fabric from the mill and then we would send it out to this third party, and it makes these beautiful fabrics able to perform in these really sometimes harsh environments. So all these treatments there on the right are things that you can have added on to the fabric. So now, let's see, I have a little demonstration. Now I got it. All right. So here we go. I practiced this a couple times here. So I have a fabric here that was treated. Well, here, okay. Here's my fabric, and it was treated with with what we're talking about. And I have my little blue dye here. I forgot my lab coat. That's upstairs. I should have grabbed that before the meeting. And my mustache and my pocket protector. But anyway, so here is the fabric. And then here is our little blue dye. And as you can see, the liquid kind of just beads up on the top of the fabric. It almost rolls off if you don't balance it well, which I'm not balancing it very well. And then you can just kind of wipe it up with your little cloth. And away it goes. How was that for a magic trick? Did that work all right? Yeah, okay. That took some balancing and practicing. It's harder on Zoom. Okay. So it's not just about the fabrics. You can also apply treatments onto the wood or different materials to protect against mold and mildew, bacteria. And there's also all of the wood-like finishes that JD and Kathy talked about, the faux woods, the polymers, the thermolaminates that kind of shrink wrap that look like wood, and they're residential and soft feeling like wood, but they're much more resilient to this environment and more resistant to any bacteria. So JD and I are going to kind of tag team this part. So Philippe kind of gave us this idea. So we wanted to share this with you guys. So why work with a furniture dealer, and what is it that we do, and how can we help this whole process? So JD, that one didn't work.
It's not going to work.
Nope, that one didn't work. We're moving on.
All right. So when you partner with a furniture dealer, we can insert anywhere along in that entire project process. So if it's the early stages, before the design, during the design, post-installation, really the goal of the dealer is to save the designer's time and profits, along with executing well on the delivery and installation. Dealers understand and take very seriously, we know how important it is for the buildings to be ready when it comes time for the D&I to ensure the client satisfaction. So this slide here gets very specific. I won't go through every bullet here, but it gives you a very detailed view of a lot of the different services that dealers can offer. Dealer services are a la carte. So wherever you actually need the help from us is where we can insert and really take that work off your plate. So whether it's helping with initial budgeting, getting samples for the fit tests that Kathy likes to do, having access to hundreds of furniture brands, fabric reservations, logistics, even dealing with those post-order warranty claims, dealers are here to help.
Fluid, and I went ahead to my little favorite picture. The other way that, I was very excited. So the way for the A&D community, a big one is fabric direction. So much like a woman, you don't want to put horizontal stripes if she's asked for vertical stripes, just like a chair. So we go through, you know, with Kathy and with Marcy, and we make sure that the fabric direction is going the right way on the chairs. We can provide cutting for approval samples, make sure the die lot is the one you want from the mill. Sample products, as JD said, we can help with, you know, fire certificates, lead documents, fabric samples, visualization tools, all different things. This is not.
Real quick, can I just insert that there are also times when I can't find something that I will email my dealer and just say, this is what I'm looking for. Where should I look?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No, it's great. Awesome. The sustainability aspect of a job is important to, you know, certain clients. And so there's LEED certification. We can repurpose things, as Kathy said, reupholster some pieces in some of these areas, help keep things out of landfills.
When you work with a dealer, you have access to an entire network across the nation. So no matter where your project is located, we can help. I'm still waiting for that trip to Hawaii. So if anybody on here needs some help with that project, I will fly there for you and
I'll go with you. I think it's the only non-red state in the United States for COVID right now. So
there we go. Let's go.
And project execution, just from, you know, the beginning of an installation, we go out and verify the site, the delivery, the install, the punch list, the warranty, you know, and everything after. And we just make sure that everybody's happy.
So now we wanted to end with the innovation that you find in furniture and where technology is incorporated into furniture. So this first example here is by Maxwell Thomas, which is a brand solely focused on senior living. This is the Vidalia locking glider. It is weight activated. So our engineering team actually worked with Leggett & Platt to design the mechanism here. And that's a picture on the bottom left there. It shows the underside of the chair. So when somebody sits in the chair, that little silver dot, I don't have control, so I can't point at it, but you were close, Jen.
I'm trying.
The little silver part on the bottom, it releases and it unlocks the chair so that you get that full gliding motion, which the residents love. It's very soothing, especially anywhere where there's cognitive issues. And then the second the chair starts to feel weight moving up from the chair, it re-engages that lock. So the chair stays completely stable while the residents get in and out, helping to reduce falls. This is also by Maxwell Thomas. It's the Kensington non-powered lift chair. Some of the frustration with lift chairs is that you get the big bulky borexy type of look, big pillowy style, and you have to also have the recline mechanism. What's nice about this is that it is a very small footprint. It allows for that ease of egress. So it's just a little bit of extra lift to get out of the chair without having to worry about having power. It can be locked in the down position with the little black lever that's on the outside of the chair, and it's weight activated. So you can set it, there's 3 different settings on the chair. You can set it for a resident under 150 pounds, from 150 to 250, and from 250 to 350. We are seeing a lot of power integrated into furniture in the hospitality business, as well as in the residential business. We're starting to see that a little bit more in senior living. Mainly right now, it's when you're marketing to the adult children. and they're thinking about using their phone and sitting in these chairs and visiting with mom and being able to plug in their phone. But it's the resident of tomorrow that this is really for. My parents are in their late 60s and they're on their phones all the time. So I can only imagine they are going to want to have easy access to power. So these are 3 examples of furniture. There's a lot out there that have power outlets as well as USB ports integrated into the product. And then this is a great feature that's an add-on. So it's actually just a strip of lights that we have shown here at the bottom of a bedside cabinet. It's motion censored. So if the resident has to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, they put their feet on the ground, it senses their motion and it turns the light on. So it's a great night light that doesn't disrupt their sleep because it's off while they're sleeping, but as soon as they need it, it lights up. It can also be added to as a strip underneath a bed to provide that same feature. Now, these next 2 products, I will preface with, I have never seen them before. They were just introduced at a technology conference that happened recently, so I thought I'd share them with this audience. The first is this bridge dining chair. Some of the features here are that it is stackable. The armrest actually slides. So as you can see in the bottom left-hand picture, it makes it easier for the caregiver to move the chair. It also in the picture in the middle shows how it can get pushed back and you can assist the resident into their wheelchair. So it's easier for transfers. The picture in the middle on the bottom where it shows the chair resting on the table, that's for cleaning for the staff. So they don't have to actually pick up the chair and turn it upside down and have the seat on top of the table. They can actually lift it up, hang it on the table, and they can clean out underneath it. The seat depth is also adjustable, so it can adapt to a variety of different resident sizes.
Falling down on the job here.
And then the overbed table, this is an adaptable piece that can be used with wheelchairs as pictured on the right here. It has a durable laminate top that you can do in some fun colors or a wood grain look. It has adjustable height. It also has an adjustable angle, so it can pop up more like an easel. And the casters on here lock for safety.
And this is a system. It's a modular system that you could use for casework. It hangs on a rail. It's all interchangeable components. So it's just interesting where it takes the construction and infrastructure changes out, minimizes facility costs. You can reconfigure it whenever you need. So it hangs, it's all these individual components and it's modular. It hangs on this rail. It's got that Durwrap surface like we talked about. And this is called the Herman Miller Compass system. There's another picture of it. So you can use it to hang TVs. You can use it for a closet. You can use it in a bunch of different areas. This is just an interesting chair. It was designed with ergonomics in mind. It's very supportive, very comfortable. The arms flip up for easy in and out, and for the caregiver as well. There's a handle on the back. And then there's these little hidden casters that is integral for the caregiver to move the chair around. And then kind of what JD was talking about, just the integration of technology is so important now and will continue to be even more so as time goes on. So different solutions and ways to integrate technology into all the different areas. And with that, the 4 of us thank you very much for your time, and we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you. This is awesome. I don't think I remember ever learning this much and laughing this much at a DFA presentation. So thank you very, very much to the 4 of you. Before we start seeing people leaving us, I hope people don't leave and stay with it for the Q&A. I just want to post a link for people who are looking for AIA credit. Just go into that hyperlink that I will put on the chat and fill in your information for AA credits. The Boston Society, the BSA will file it for you. With this, I open it up for discussion. Questions, funny stories.
All right, I can't help myself. Have you found ever that the zinc glides on the bottoms of the chairs leave dots, ink dots from the iron and water mixing with tannic acid, which maybe would be in the rugs or a wood floor? Those zinc dots, are they an issue?
I've not ever had that problem.
No, I haven't seen that either.
Have you, Peter?
Yes. Most people don't know what it is. They just have these dots that they don't know where they're coming from, and you usually see them in clusters because they're around the feet.
Huh.
Oh. It could be the quality of the slides, or and if they get old, maybe, or something, and the iron is more exposed. I don't really know, but I just wondered when you mentioned the dots on the bottom of the chairs, and nobody else had a question.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks for stepping up.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question.
Go ahead, Jane.
This is Jane. Yeah, Jane from DCAM. We're currently working on two major projects, both in healthcare. One is the one I mentioned is the Soldier's Home. It's more like a nursing home. And then the other one's a hospital. And so we were doing a lot of research on healthy hospital initiative kind of criteria. So that kind of lead me to also wanted to pick your brains on the upholstery, that we were informed as far as to stay away from vinyl. Okay. And as well as for different varieties of the coatings that I think Healthy Hospital is trying to avoid us to add additional coatings. So I wasn't sure. So, you know, one is the hospital, the other one is more of a nursing home. So what's your perspective on all those information out there? You know,
well, Harvard adheres to HHI.
Okay.
So Jen and myself we've had to adhere to those standards also. But it's not a bad initiative at all.
Well, we're trying to adhere too, but I think it just so the industry now introduces us to silicone, right?
Yeah,
as far as
right.
yeah. So, but again, that just came out not too long ago. So the application, as far as the end result, after a few years, you see the buckling, or there were some issues with it, and I'm not quite sure. Again, based on your expertise that you've been designing, you know, a lot of aging, you know, the facilities that you mentioned. So like the latest projects, have you applied something different than what you have applied before? Because I think one of them was vinyl. I saw that green chair was vinyl, but if you're staying away from it, then what have you been specifying recent year, I guess?
Well, there's also polyurethane.
Yes, polyurethane. Yep. So you use a lot of that as well.
It comes in a nice color, yeah.
Of course, it's not just a chair. It's not just a
chair. It's a statement.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just saying though. So that actually go back to why do we use dealership? And that's one of the reasons why we use dealership, because they also expose to so much of industry, not just to train the knowledge. So we pick Jen and Alex bring a lot as far as that goes. So we've been going to them. We've been going to other vendors as well, and also fabric manufacturers. We've been having Zoom meetings with them to start talking about.
I mean, I will say that the HHI thing, you know, has become more prevalent recently, and that certain mills have come out with lines specifically that are HHI compliant. You know, they kind of preface it that the colors aren't as rich, and that, you know, the patterns aren't as deep, and also that, from what I understand, that the HHI thing was originally intended to be like a 70 or like a 60-40 and not 100% across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So different places are, applying using HHI to the best of their ability.
Yes.
Not in every single piece, because there's just not enough out there.
Right. Right. No, I hear you. I think working for state, you probably know a lot based on our previous project. It's really, we are lack of maintenance, as far as the maintenance aspect of it. There's just a very little budget to maintain the furniture. So as much as we did our best to specify, extra coating and to make sure it's durable, a couple years later, we were told, okay, these are all stained. Come to find out that there's only one maintenance person that perhaps, cleaned the whole entire campus, or, that's probably the bad example. But I think that's the reason why we're kind of investigating if we're looking at overall using HHI as a standard, do our absolutely best, not 40%, not 60, maybe 80 to 100. I'm just saying, even though we might pump into more money initially, but hopefully that we have a better end result. As far as, again, I don't know whether anyone has any experience with that.
I want to bring to people's attention, there's a question in the chat group about how are you addressing the new chemical fire retardant FR change?
I'm
not familiar with this.
I
don't know.
I think it's on the 117. Is it the additional rating that the 117? Most of if that's the FR that you're referring to, most of the contract grade furniture suppliers are now adapting to those additional regulations and are passing that, because they were just the standard CA 117 before, and now they are passing these additional regulations to be approved.
Cal 117 2013. It has to say 2013.
Right.
Right.
And there's forms and documents that we get from the different manufacturers, and usually then there's a certificate we have to get. So we collect all the data from the manufacturers and send it over in Boston to the Boston Fire Department.
And that's a fun process.
It's fun. Just a ball. A laugh a minute.
Oh my God. But it's not only the furniture, it's also the fabrics that all have to pass the Cal 117 2013.
And 2013 is the new news.
That is correct, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Where were we before?
Probably in 2007 or so. Maybe 2005.
Yeah. At least Cal 133 went away.
Right, thank God. Oh my God. Thank God for that one.
Talk about delaminating fabrics.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
But
and there's also Cal 133, which is not anything new, but certain states do require it versus other states do not. Yeah, so that's something that can be added to a lot of furniture if it's required by that state.
Wow.
But it got poo-pooed because of all the negative, yucky, bad chemicals that are.
Yeah, right.
So there's a environmental versus fire retardant.
So the trick is how all this align with the well standards, indoor air quality. You add all these vicious chemicals.
Right.
So.
Yes.
Okay. It is 6:47. The conversation is going great, but I want to be mindful of presenters' times and everybody who joined us as well. We have people from multiple time zones. So thank you all for attending. Thank you very much for the 4 presenters. We really, really appreciate your time and the effort. I know it's not easy to put this together. Working remotely, working across the country. So thank you, Kathy, Marcy, Jen, and JD a lot for informing us, sharing your knowledge, and making this a fun evening.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And we will let you know when the recording will be posted.
Give it a few days and it'll be up on the website. That's what the BSA is telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Is there actually? I have one more request. Is there a way that you can share the slides with us? The slideshow. I thought in particular, the first batch is excellent.
Thanks, Jane. What the heck?
No, I found them all. Sorry, I
It's
want
nice
them
to
all. I
meet
didn't
you,
want to be
Jane.
greedy. I didn't want to be
Whatever.
greedy.
It's fine.
Call me.
Jane, if you send me an email, or I can talk with the panelist and put together something, and we can send it to you.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
We can post the presentation on the website, on the DFA website as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
so
Jen,
we'll do
you
that.
help me out, Jen.
I know JD. I have a direct access. I got
you. Okay, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you all. Thank you.